Hello everyone and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 24. It is now time to start our Moto2 career mode, and we start in the Qatar GP. It is the Lusial International Circuit, and today we will be starting our debut from the back of the grid. I don't know what the hell the AI was doing in the qualifying, but they were unbeatable. I hope we can have at least somewhat of a decent debut here today. Ladies and gentlemen, let battle commence. So here we go then, from the back of the grid. Let's see what we can produce from here. We'll wait for the red lights to disappear and away we go. Before we start this race, I just want to say a big shout out to Sergio23 for terrific helmet design and number as well. But wow, look at us rocketing all the way up to a massive position increase of 3 up to 27th. We've got a lot of work still yet to do here today, but I must confess this is reminding me a lot of what it was like in Moto2 in MotoGP 23, as I think that was Jama Masia who gave us a bit of a nudge going into the left hand side there. In fact, it was either him or his teammate Bo Benschneider, but the AI struggling off the start there isn't quite what I've come to expect, especially not in Moto3. They were quite fast off the line as someone gets punted towards the edge of the circuit there. I can't actually quite see who it was. Could very well be Aaron Canet, as someone is... Yeah, Aaron Canet's been giving a track limit warning already, and it was indeed Aaron Canet on board the Boscascora chassis for the first time in a few years. Let's see how he fares with the Boscascora again. Oh, he touched a curve there. Look at him sitting up. Difficult start there for Aaron Canet, going backwards in the early stages of this Grand Prix. And in fact, this is a cracking opportunity for us to retake some positions. And this, for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the point scoring positions in Moto2 for the very first time. Magnificent start, if I do say so myself. Up by 50% of the grid, up to 15th already. A little bit of a mistake going into turn 12 there. Very difficult corner to navigate here in Lusail International Circuit. Now onto the right. I'm actually eyeballing up a real-life Moto2 winner himself, Sergio Garcia, on board the MT MSA Boscascora. Can we get through now on the number 3? A little bit late up on the brakes. That's giving Filip Salac a bit of a punt. I don't think he's going to be quite happy with that one, is the Czech Republican, so I will take any form of warning that comes to me for that particular incident. That was a bit of an aggressive lunge, if I dare say so myself. But I tell you what, we are now through on both riders going into turn 1 there to secure 13th place. My maths may not be the best, but I can guarantee that is a 17 place improvement from where we started. Not all that bad. I haven't seen Dennis on Chu anywhere. Not sure what's happened to the Turkish rider. Goodness me. Sergio Garcia shoving me wide into the right-hander there. Certainly offering some excitement in the early stages of this race, isn't it? Good stuff so far. And if you're enjoying that excitement, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I can assure you, you will not regret it, because we're going to have 20 more rounds of pure Moto2 bliss throughout the next couple of weeks and possibly months as well. Jeremy Alcobra ahead of us then. He's on board. Is it the Yamaha Mastercam VR46 machine? The number 52 looks pretty good on that motorcycle. Actually reminds me a lot like James Toseland on the Tech 3 Yamaha from back in 2008. Was it possibly even earlier? I think it was 2008 if my memory serves me correctly. We are now up to the top 12. Now, I'll be honest with you, when I did that introduction video yesterday, I felt fantastic with the Calex chassis. The Triumph 765 engine is obviously working really well, sounds awesome in this game too. A little bit nervous. I did realise how far we were down in terms of practice and pace, but comparing it to race pace, it looks like we've got a decent bit of speed to catch up to these riders ahead of us. I don't think we can catch up to the front group, because look how far ahead the likes of Celestino Vietti, Alonso Lopez and Fermin Aldeguer are. They are miles ahead. They're 5.5 seconds clear from us in 12th, but I wouldn't mind betting that that gap to 4th place is probably around a second or two already. Fermin, fastest man on the circuit, 1:57.7 for the number 54, the man who's MotoGP bound in real life, of course. 158.2 for us. So around 0.5 of a second slower so far as we squeeze through now on Marcos Ramirez. Pretty good move, but he might go for the lunge here in the left. He certainly does. Picks us up into turn 2. Does the OnlyFans American Racing rider. And he's got that inside line as well for turn 3. Goodness me. Deary me, he is absolutely pushing me to the limits here. Able to squeeze through now though for turn 4 in that exchange of positions. We do now occupy 11th place. Dispossessing... Oh my goodness, what the hell happened then? I was just going to say we dispossessed Marcos Ramirez, but had a bit of stutter in the game then. That's a unique thing to happen. That's not really happened in a while. I have noticed that seems to occur when my monitor decides to change its primary monitor halfway through a race session. I have no idea what triggers it, but yeah, I have noticed that once or twice. I'm not pleased that that's back, because as you can see, I lost a lot of time there trying to rectify the problem. All I can say is thank goodness I was on a straight there, because if I was on a corner, God knows what could have happened in a situation like that. So now up to the top 10. Just eyeballing Somkiat Chantra. He is on board the Honda Team Asia Calyx. Very good rider, Somkiat, of course. Winner in Moto2. Multiple winner, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, multiple podium finisher as well is the number 35. I'm being able to close in ever so slightly per sector. Not going to catch up to him probably on this next lap, but by lap 5 we could be on the precipice of getting past the number 35. Fingers and toes crossed, ladies and gentlemen, because that would be a top 10 result. My only concern is that the team objective was not only to finish ahead of teammate Dennis Onchu, but also to finish on the podium, and as you can see, that is looking pretty bleak at this stage of the competition. Into the left-hand side, though, yellow flags out somewhere. Someone's gone down, potentially behind us. It looks like they're in turn 1. It looks to be Barry Baltus. Barry Baltus has gone down into turn 1. Is the new Elfmark VDS Racing rider, of course. He's had a bit of a tough job, did the Belgian. Not as good as the Belgian ace, of course, the man who made my helmet, Sergio23. As I mentioned earlier on, if you do want to get your own design, head over to the Discord server or alternatively speak to him in his Instagram channel as well. I'm sure he'll price you up and sort you out for a cracking helmet, just as good as mine here today. 0.2 of a second is Marcos Ramirez now, so I thought we would be closing up to Chantra, but it looks to be the opposite. We're actually losing time, and Ramirez on the American racing team is closing me in. If you were to tell me that my potential would be to fight and defend for 11th place here in Qatar, I will be honest, I would say you were mad. I thought I could do a lot better than that. But right now, it's a bit of a head scratcher, ladies and gentlemen. I thought it'd be much quicker than this, as we just... Yeah, we did. We just abused the track limits ever so slightly there. That warrants a track limit warning. But don't worry, we've got 4 more of those before we get a slap on the wrist, which will equate to either 3 seconds penalty or a long lap penalty to take roughly around turn 5. I had to take 2 of those in our MotoGP 23 Ace Academy Cup. And it's a pretty easy long lap penalty to get right, to be honest, and you don't lose that much time. So if I were to get a long lap penalty, it is definitely the idea to take it rather than avoiding it and taking the 3-second penalty. But we don't need to think about that right now, because we're miles away from hitting that long lap penalty status. But what I can say is that we have closed that gap now on Chantra quite nicely. The gap was oscillating around a second to 1.2. Now it's stable, and it's, well, in fact, it's better than stable. It's dropping in our favour. Look how close we are now to the Honda Team Asia, man. Oh, I can't get that bike stopped. Not the cleanest of overtakes. I went a bit late, but we're through. And as long as the race directors don't pop up, we should be fine. Tell Freddie Spencer to leave me alone. We don't need to start discussing track limit warnings and penalties for contact here in this battle for 10th place. Oh, I lost the front. Oh my god, the front washed away for a second then into turn 9. Check out the replay on the right hand side of your screen, guys. Look how close I was. My God. I felt the front disappear. I said this in the introduction video yesterday that I felt I need to be more confident on the front end with the Calyx. I feel like I'm getting it, but in moments like that it certainly takes your breath away ever so slightly. As we just barrel rolled our way through Antonio Arbolino there. He was significantly slower than we are into that right-hander. And we're behind Alberto. Yes, that is me, Albert. Look at that timing, the way he just looked behind him there, saying, what's he doing here? He's the Moto3 World Champion. You bet I am. And I'm hot on your tails, Alberto Arenas. From one Moto3 champion to another, I'm going to dive on through, going into turn 1. We've occupied 8th place. What a great race this has been so far. I was a bit nervous to start this one off, but I think I'm beginning to get the groove. Consistent 1:58 lap times there, 58.2, 58.5, 58.3, and a 58 flat, our best lap of the race so far. Still 9 laps to go in this one, so literally anything can happen. And what did Murray Walker say? If anything can happen in racing, it probably will. And I've gone wide. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What a time to make a quote there when I go wide. Sure I can get this position back though on Tony. Ran it deep though into turn 6. Just unravelling ever so slightly here, going backwards on lap 6. Not a happy hunting ground after all on the 6th lap. It's always typical, isn't it? You set the fast lap of the race, you start getting really confident, and then bang. Little gremlins appear. Little mistake, just encroaching in your space. I felt that, I tell you what. Sorry, I'm going to get distracted here because that's a wonderful lunge up on the inside of Tony. I was setting that one up a moment ago as we force him off the circuit, almost. In fact, he did force him off the circuit, and he's been given a track limit warning. Oh, I'd be miffed if I was him. That's not exactly fair, is it? When two riders want the same piece of tarmac, though, what can you do as we go around the outside of Arenas? Not happening yet. Looks quite good on the Fantic Racing, Alberto Arenas does. Very underrated rider, I think. But I tell you what, I think this is an opportunity for us to scythe our way through. Not yet. Not able to close in. Compatriot Jake Dixon is around a second ahead of us, maybe a little bit more. We'll get a better understanding as we use the speed of the Calyx of the Red Bull KTM IO to get through. 1.2 is the gap to Jake. I am feeling much more confident though every single lap. Feeling better into turn 1, downshifting in a sequential way now rather than being aggressive. Downshifting too abruptly, downshifting too quickly is what is costing me time, is what's costing my grip and confidence into some of the tougher braking zones. Prime example right here. Brake nice and early, calm on the downshifts, and turn in with vengeance. Almost just touched the outside of the circuit there, but that's okay because that's how you find time. Don't just use a bit of the circuit, use it all. Oh, Jake Dixon got picked up. He got absolutely lifted mid-corner there. It was either hit, yeah, it was him, but was it Manuel Gonzalez who's fighting there for 4th? What a typical position for Manuel Gonzalez. I don't know if there's any man in Moto2 who's had more 5th places than that man on screen right now. That's quite the battle, and all this messing around is just bringing myself, Alberto Arenas, and Arbolino closer to a chance of this top 4 position. From 30th to 4th, yeah, that would be a cracking result. Much better than what my prospects were going into this one, I'll be honest. But approaching that 50% race distance now. Again, that stutter. What is going on? Where is this coming from? GPU working overtime here. With a 4K resolution, apparently. Maybe that's a message to buy a new GPU. Who knows? Don't really feel I need it yet, but we'll get to it when we get to it. And into the right-hander then. We are now in striking distance of compatriot Dixon, the Spaniard ahead Guevara, another Spaniard, the former Manuel Gonzalez, and the American Joe Roberts. It's game on. Oh, look at that lap time, our fastest lap of the race so far. Only 0.3 of a second behind Alonso Lopez's lap time. If only we were doing those laps from the beginning, we could be right up there with the best of them. Oh, who's that having a look behind him? Was that Manuel Gonzalez? I think it was. I am feeling more and more confident as this race progresses, and I'm still using the soft tyres. I felt like maybe using the soft would be a bit of a gamble here in Qatar. I know obviously how warm these track conditions can be in this side of the world. Look at that, look how quickly we're closing in on now on Jake Dixon. The former Moto2 winner is under pressure here from quite possibly one of the most successful teams in both Moto3 and Moto2 history. The Red Bull KTM IO, you can spot those colours from a mile off. Oh, it's opening up. I can't get through on Dixon here. He's going to run it a bit deep potentially. Can we sneak it back on through? Really trying to occupy that position. Goodness me, he turned into me there. I'm not taking the blame for that one. I think Dixon turned into me on that one. No doubt he'll be kicking off about that particular manoeuvre. 7th place for us so far. What a result this is going to be now. Look at that. Up on the inside of Guevara. That's Dixon. That's his former teammate as well. We're getting through on everybody. What a result this will be. Really pleased with how this one's turned out. As I say, sceptical to start this one off, but to finish with 10 points would be a good job, especially considering we started dead last. Back of the grid we started. And now it is game on for not only a top 5, but for the bridesmaid podium position, 4th place as well. Onto the brakes. And bringing it in to turn 1. Look at us just really leaning in on the right hand side of the KTM there. Pirelli rubber getting abused on lap number 9. Still desperate to catch up to him. I don't think I need to panic or rush things here. The more we push, the more I'll use that soft tyre, and we're actually getting to the point now where those Pirelli rubber will begin to feel really slippery. A little bit more on the right hand side, and I think we're going to get to that point where it's going to be really difficult to turn in. Got to be on my A game here. The ace game, let's say. Oh, there's another crasher somewhere. Don't know who that is or where it is. But there's more yellow flags out. This time sector 2. Oh, it's Sergio Garcia. Garcia's out. That's a shocking result for that man on board the MTMSI Boscascora. Him and his teammate, to be honest, Tony Arbolino, not even in the top 10. Not a great result for that outfit there today. 10th of a second, 0.2 of a second found now into turn 11. Really close to abusing the track limits there. We are closing in. This is the point in the track where I was losing time in the introduction video yesterday. Comparing it now to this, whether it's just the AI are going slow at this stage of the Grand Prix, but we are just absolutely eating into the advantage that Gonzalez and Roberts had. This is going to be another quick lap. Potentially our fastest of the race so far. Can it be done onto the right-hander with slipstream? Yeah, this is going to be our fastest lap. I guarantee that now. I'd put money on it. Out of the final corner. Double slipstream effect. This is putting us not only into the 57s again, but with a brand new personal best of a 57.705. 0.2 of a second behind Fermin Aldeguer's lap time from earlier on. Good start. Really good stuff this. I sincerely hope you guys are enjoying this one. If you are, let me know in the comment section now before we lose our opportunity to enter the comment section until this video ends. We are absolutely on a tear. Manuel Gonzalez is the next victim. Can we squeeze through? You betcha. Little bit of a nudge, but come on, rubbing is racing, of course it is. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Every single lap just feels golden. Getting closer and closer to that feeling of comfort. And I tell you what it is, being more aggressive on the front brake. That sounds bizarre to say, but I feel way better when I'm pushing the front brakes to the limit. I didn't change the front brake disc, but I did change the rear. We now have the 7-inch rather than the 8-inch, and I find that that feels much better for me. Will vary depending on your style, but that significantly feels better for me. It really, really does. 57.7 is a very solid lap time. Quite happy with the result there, actually. There's a notifications come up now for my, my mouse being low. Everything's kicking off. A lot of distractions here in Lusial International Circuit, apparently. Look at Jake Dixon. He's occupying the position I want. Oh, a bit of a contact there. Don't think that was the cleanest of overtakes, and I wouldn't mind betting that Joe goes back through. So I tell you what, consider that as the overtake given back. I giveth and I taketh away. We are now up to 4th place. Unfortunately, oh, look at Jay. Look at Joe getting back on through though. We're elbows out across the line almost here in Qatar. Beautiful sight. What a race this is going to be. Is this the rivalry for the season? I wanted one of the Moto3 riders to join me into Moto2, but it didn't happen. I hope that this is brewing of a new rivalry. Joe in a new team. Myself in a new team. A new category. A new class, don't forget. And this is going to be a cracking race, this. 5 laps to go. Plenty of action still up for grabs. Who's going to finish out on top for this 4th place? And don't forget, guys and girls, if anything happens to one of those top 3 riders, this position converts to a podium. It's imperative that we stay ahead of Joe at all costs. 3.5 tenths of a second, 4 tenths of a second is the gap now. We are pulling away from the American. The man from California is going to have to think of something sharp to get through on us now. As sharp as our elbows were on display in the final corner just minutes ago. 8 tenths it is now. We are losing time compared to the previous laps. It is exactly what I thought it would be. 5 laps from the end. Front tyre, rear tyre on the right hand side of the Pirellis. Yeah, they're burning away. They are dropping. This is where we have to be extremely careful. I'm not privy to the information of Joe Roberts' tyre selection. All I know is that we've got the softs. The game recommended the mediums, but I didn't feel all that confident, so I went for the softs, and so far it's working out well. And when you start at the back of the grid, you have to go for the softest tyre compound available. You just have to do it. 13 points ahead of Dennis on Chu. That tells me that he's not even in the points. So this has been a pretty disappointing weekend for the Red Bull KTM IO outfit. Bit of a saving grace for myself, of course. Starting last up to 4th place as it is. Incredible performance. And the fact is that here on lap 11, with tyres that are disintegrating and burning away, we're setting lap times, if I'm not mistaken, quicker than our qualifying lap, which was a we did a 158 or 159 flat, so we were setting lap times very similar with the pace that we're doing now with fresh rubber compared to this race right now. That tells me a lot of things. That's a lot of confidence building from this. We go to a circuit next, which I love, which is Portimao. AI aren't particularly strong there, so we could have a good battle for a podium in tomorrow's race. I will try my best to get on that video as soon as possible. Do have quite a lot of videos to get through at the minute, so bear with me, and then we'll get back to Moto2 career mode. I sincerely hope you're enjoying this one though nonetheless. Let me know in the comments section, and I'll be sure to prioritise these videos above the rest. 6 tenths of a second lost on this lap. Joe Roberts, the gap is less than 2 tenths of a second. We cannot break the shackles of the American. Multiple Moto2 winner is going to show us his experience soon, isn't he? He is putting pressure on me, making little mistakes by touching the track limits. He's going to bring him back. And I think he's probably not too pleased with my overtake in this corner 3 laps ago. So I imagine he's going to go full send. That's a mantra on our channel. But maybe Joe Roberts believes it too. Hashtag full send, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're not familiar with that, it just means go for it. Don't think, just do it. Like in Metal Gear Solid 1, he said, don't think, just shoot. That's basically us right now, just thinking, go for it. 1 second down though on the laps, yeah. This is tough. I'm not one for leading the charge. Chasing riders down, being the hunter, yes. Being the hunted, I'm not a big fan, to be honest. And I think it's evident now with these lap times. Identical lap times though, nonetheless. A 58.986. Oh, come on. That's never a track limit warning. For just touching that white line there doesn't benefit anyone. I hate how I always get penalised with that. One more track limit warning and then it's panic stations. We cannot afford to be pushed into a situation where we do not feel comfortable. It's not all that important here to send it to the scenery just because of a 4th place. That is extremely contradictory with what I've just said about going full send, but you get my point. It's a long season. Sometimes points just make the prizes, and sometimes you just got to take what you can get. 4th place is 13 points. We have bragging rights as being the best of the rest. Celestino Vietti didn't look back from the Red Bull KTM IO seat. He joined the Italtrans and he's sitting pretty, looking at a 25-point championship lead. Well, 25-point victory to take a 5-point championship lead ahead of Alonso Lopez in 2nd. Fermin Aldeguer in 3rd, as he managed to stay put. I'm actually really shocked this happened because every single season, I swear to God, I've seen him in transfer rumours about going somewhere, and yet he hasn't gone anywhere. He stayed exactly where he wanted to be. I was really surprised to see that MotoGP only had one change, and that was Iagora taking the place of Frankie Morbidelli in the Portimao VR46 Enduro team. Very, very bizarre. But here we are then, exiting turn 16 for the 13th time of asking. There's the gap behind us. Joe Roberts is not letting this one go. Across the line, we have slipped into the 59s again. Must stay calm here. This is the penultimate lap. Just one more to go after this one. What a race. What a challenge as well. I missed this from Moto3. We didn't have a challenge towards the latter stage of the season. When our bike got upgraded, it really made things easy for us. I'm hoping that we don't get too many upgrades. I know that sounds completely backwards, but I'd rather the bike be a bit sluggish and have races like this where I battle hard for a 4th place instead of dominating every single Grand Prix on the easiest bike. That's not my style. I'd rather push and be rewarded with some stellar races for you guys, for the content. I lost a bit of time there. That's a mistake coming in, and that's exactly what I was worried about. Just little problems coming in here at the latter stage of the race. The soft tyres are disappearing quite rapidly. I'm really tempted to let Joe Roberts to get through and I'll follow him for the end. But I do fear that I don't have the tyre to then attack him if he gets through. This is difficult. This is the thinking game that we have to contend with right now. We'll have one more lap of this high-speed chess game that we call Moto2. 2.5 tenths, 2 tenths of a second is the gap. We're still on the cusp of getting that track limit warning, aren't we? Got to be careful here. Cannot afford. That would just completely crucify me, wouldn't it? All this effort to take a penalty, which would drop us quite far behind. And in fact, speaking of behind, my goodness, have you guys taken a look at the bottom? In fact, save it for now. Joe Roberts is through. Roberts' this cheeky manoeuvre up on the inside in the final corner. I've got egg on my face. He's gone through. Can I fight back? We do have a lot of speed with this particular machine, though, don't we? Look at that. Is Joe going to go through? He is. He's going to run it deep, though. Back up on the inside. Get back into 5th, Joe. I've got this position, and this is where I intend to stay. Well, I was going to say, but before I rudely interrupted myself, is that the gap behind us and the gap to the leader is astronomical. There is so many little pockets of riders going around this circuit. I have no idea what's happened, but that is bizarre. We've certainly found our stride now. Oh, Jake Dixon's gone down. How many times have we said that? How many times has a British commentator exclaimed, Jake Dixon has gone down? God, it's tough being a Jake Dixon fan, isn't it? Come on, Dixon. You're better than that. You've moved over to the Grassini team and you're still crashing. Come on, Jake. Sorry, rant over as we go deep into turn 7. Joe Roberts fights back. That's Dixon's fault. Someone's going to take the blame. Perfect. This is exactly going into my hands here. Let Joe run a bit wide. Go for the lunge in the inside. Come on. Oh my God, this final lap is going down to the wire, isn't it? Look at the rear tyres spinning up. There's nothing left on the right-hand side. Here we go then. Turn 14 is where I'm going to go for. In fact, he's made a mistake. We've got to squeeze through somehow. Sized our way through again as well. Scything our way through quicker than a Grim Reaper. 0.3 of a second is the gap now. Can we secure 4th place? 2 points up for grabs here compared to 5th place. On the brakes then. Here we go. Final cut. I can't turn in. Oh, Dixon's got the inside line. Oh, I was a bit sluggish upon the acceleration. Do I have enough now to get through across the line? I don't think we've got enough. Oh, no. Oh, done. Beaten by Joe Roberts across the line. Fair play to the American. Well, John Hopkins did always say Joe Roberts is in everyone's head. Clearly, he was in mine. What an effort. Celestino Vietti wins, Alonso Lopez in 2nd, Aldeguer takes 3rd, and myself just finished behind Roberts by 17,000 of a second. Ultimately, we did have a much quicker lap time though, nonetheless. Our lap times were similar to the guys on the podium, no less, but there is the standings of today's race, there is the championship standings. That was excellent. That was absolutely brilliant. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. If any of the races are going to be like this for the rest of the season, then I highly recommend you get subscribed. And if not, then somehow you made it to this end of the video without enjoying the video. But guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow for more MotoGP 24. Ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.